Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something that's just completely reshaping the tech landscape right now. We are going to explore the untold, behind-the-scenes playbook of this massive new wave of young AI founders. I mean, we're talking about teenagers and college dropouts who are building startups and hitting crazy revenue numbers faster than you could ever imagine. Just look at Alexander Wang. He dropped out of MIT, launched Scale AI when he was only 19, and literally became the world's first self-made billionaire before he even turned 25. So how did he do it? How are any of them doing it? Well, that is exactly what we're unpacking today.
Seriously, let's just pause and think about that for a second. How is this even possible? How are high schoolers and college students scaling these AI startups at a speed that pretty much defies all traditional business logic? They aren't waiting around for degrees. They definitely aren't spending years grinding in corporate tech jobs. They're going from zero to millions in mere months. And it tells us something absolutely crystal clear. They are not playing by the old rules. They've got a completely different playbook. To show you just how incredibly fast things are moving, check out the staggering number. $3.4 million. That is the exact amount raised by Nathaniel Johnson and Shan Haro, two Yale University students, in just 14 days. Let that sink in. In 2 weeks, while they were still in college, they secured over $3 million for their startup, Series. It's an AI social network designed to help people make the right connections at the exact right time. They're following a very specific formula to pull this off, and today you're going to learn exactly what it is.
Okay, let's dive straight into the roadmap. Here is the 5-stage playbook to scale that we're going to cover. Stage 1 is the painkiller test. Stage 2, validate before you build. Stage 3 is the duct tape MVP. Stage 4, finding true market fit. And finally, Stage 5, build in public.
Starting right at the beginning with Stage 1, the painkiller test. This is all about finding the exact right problem to solve.
You see, the absolute best startup ideas, they don't start just because AI is trending. They start with actual headaches. You really have to ask yourself, is your idea a vitamin? Meaning, it's just nice to have. Or is it a painkiller? A painkiller solves an urgent, expansive problem that a user absolutely must fix right now. The tech market is completely flooded with fancy vitamins. But the true winners? They build painkillers.
To really nail your painkiller idea, you've got to understand Harvard professor Clayton Christensen's jobs to be done theory. The core concept here is that people actually don't want your product. What they want is an outcome. Think about it. Nobody goes to the hardware store because they just really want a drill. They go because they want a hole in the wall so they can hang a nice photo of their family and feel at peace in their home. You need to think about people hiring your product to solve a real, annoying problem in their life to achieve a deeply human outcome, like finding a community or maybe overcoming a personal insecurity.
So how do you actually find your painkiller? Well, here's a quick exercise you can literally do today. Step 1, write down 3 chores you absolutely hate doing every single week. Step 2, ask someone in your network if they'd pay $50 a month to never ever have to do that chore again. And step 3, ask your friends to confirm it. This is exactly how the startup Apex Scrape was born. The founder absolutely hated the manual chore of lead scraping on Google Maps for hours on end, so he built a tool to kill his own pain, and boom, that transformed into a wildly winning business idea.
Moving on to Stage 2, validate before you build. Because honestly, validation is about survival. It is definitely not optional.
Look, 90% of first-time founders fail, and usually it's because they build their product in a complete vacuum. Reid Hoffman notoriously said, if you're not embarrassed by your first product, you've launched too late. And he is so right. You aren't trying to validate a shiny, polished, final product. You are just validating your assumptions. You want to find out if you're wrong immediately, way before you sweat over a single line of code.
Just consider these legendary case studies. Dropbox, they didn't even have a working product. They literally just made a fake video demo and collected 70,000 emails in 48 hours. Crazy, right? Loom used a fake sign-up button just to see if people would click it. And Superhuman flat out refused to launch until 250 people explicitly said yes and joined a waitlist. In 2025, you absolutely do not need a working app to test if the market is actually going to open their wallets for you.
Which brings us to Stage 3, the duct tape MVP. This is where you make it real, but keep it unpolished.
Here's the harsh truth. If no one will use an ugly, duct tape version of your solution to fix their urgent problem, they definitely aren't going to buy a polished one. The biggest companies in the world started out embarrassingly simple. Stripe? Just a basic form. Zapier was literally just the founders manually doing the tasks behind the scenes. Perplexity started as a simple search bar on top of GPT, without even a database. Or look at a Pointwise. The young founder, Lachlan O'Brien, didn't even build a front-end interface. He just connected free tools like Replit, Postman, and OpenAI, packaged that raw setup as a DIY course, and made 45 grand before he ever even hired a developer.
Your minimal viable product should not take months. Here's a 48-hour MVP playbook for you. Number 1, write down the exact single job your tool solves. Number 2, stack it together using free off-the-shelf tools like Typeform, Make.com, or Google Sheets. And number 3, share it with 5 people and simply ask them, hey, does this get you the result? If it works for them, you've got the green light to keep building.
All right, let's jump to stage 4, finding true market fit. This is the moment when the market actually starts chasing you.
Okay, so you've launched your duct tape MVP, and now comes the ultimate test. Do people want it so badly that they are chasing you for it? Y Combinator has a brutally simple metric for this: getting your first 10 non-affiliated sales. We are talking about total strangers here, not your mom, not your best friend, handing over actual cash. Apex Scrape hit the ground running by securing 20 paying strangers in their very first 7 days. Now that is true validation.
The real secret to this stage is perfectly summed up by Paul Graham. He says, do things that don't scale. Listen, your goal right now is absolutely not to set up some massive automated marketing funnel. Your goal is to manually talk to every single user. You want to ask for their brutally honest feedback. You've got to do the unscalable grunt work of fixing their specific issues by hand. Don't even think about automating it until the sheer volume of customers makes it literally hurt to do manually.
And finally, we hit stage 5, build in public. The rule here is simple: be loud or get left behind.
Now, I know this is often absolutely terrifying for technical founders. Most just want to sit and write code in a dark room. But think about the tragedy of Vincent van Gogh. He arguably had the greatest product in the history of the art world, but he died penniless because he had zero visibility. Naval Ravikant hits the nail on the head here. The world is not fair. It rewards what is seen, not what is built. You could have the most life-changing AI app on the entire planet, but if nobody knows it exists, your business is dead on arrival.
So to get seen, you need to master what's known as the CASH framework for building in public. C is for controversy, making bold statements that grab attention like, AI will replace 99% of freelancers. A is for access, giving people a behind-the-scenes look at how you built your tool in a weekend. S is for social proof, showing real people getting actual results. And H is for the human story. Take Thibaut from Tweet Hunter. He posted every single bug, every failure, and every win on social media every single day. By just being raw and authentic, he built immense trust with his audience and eventually exited for 7 figures.
Which brings us to a final question for you to really ponder. Will you build in silence, waiting for some kind of perfection that just doesn't exist, or will you build in motion? Because right now, as we speak, there is someone out there younger than you, with worse code than you, who is dominating the market simply because they are loudly sharing their story, they're testing faster, and they're showing their work. The next billion-dollar AI startup is not going to be built in a secret basement. It's going to be built in public. So what's your next move going to be?